Hi again, Mark here from Talking Bass. Today I'm going to look at a technique that I've been asked about a few times, and it's something I use occasionally, but I'm by no means a master. I'm talking about what I've always referred to as flutter picking, but I've seen it also called flamenco picking and a bunch of other names. This is a technique made popular by guys like Chuck Rainey, Geddy Lee and Bryan Beller, all in totally different styles. It's a great way to get a lot more speed out of your finger picking, and by using this technique, it's actually possible to generate more speed from one finger than you can from two. Now, I guess all you metalheads will probably be pricking your ears up right now, so let's get into it. As always, the lesson material is all there over at Talking Bass, so just click the link in the info below or the card to play along. And while you're there, be sure to check out the lesson map where you'll find over 350 free lessons on every bass topic imaginable. Then, if that floats your boat, sign up for the free membership and then log in to gain access to a ton of free resources like the 25 Bass Groove Challenge and a whole array of different ebooks on scales, arpeggios, chords and more. So just follow the link below and check it out. Okay, so the technique that we're looking at today is basically alternate picking with a single finger. A bit like double thumbing but with your finger. So if I fret a G here at the 3rd fret of the E string and pluck with a normal rest stroke, we pluck in and then we simply pluck out with the finger to get our 2nd strike. So it's an in-out motion that sounds like this. Okay? Now you'll notice a few things here. The aim is to use the nails in catching the string, which makes for a much easier ride. But if you have short nails like me, you're going to need to bear some things in mind. It's going to be a little harder to get that outstroke, so I tend to angle the hand slightly so it's coming in at an angle. So instead of straight across like that, I'm coming in at this angle. And this gives me more finger area to play with and makes for a slightly better attack there. But if you have good nails, you're probably gonna find it a lot easier to just come in and out like this. Okay, so you can go in and out like that, just parallel to the body, or you can angle, and there you have it. So start out slowly with this technique, and then as you build speed, you'll find that it's very easy to surpass the speeds that you can reach with 2 fingers. So if we just start slowly, and then build up speed, you can get some real speed with it. Now, I find one of the toughest parts of using this single finger technique is string crossing. I find the 2-finger method that I'm going to talk about in a second slightly easier for crossing strings. But then again, as I said, I'm no expert in this, and I personally only use this technique for rapid tremolo picking like that. So string crossing isn't that big a deal for me, but feel free to practice it and just let me know how you go. Another way to make use of this in-out finger picking action is with 2 fingers together like this. So you can use the 1st and 2nd finger or the 2nd and 3rd finger, and this gives you a stronger attack with slightly less speed. So if I'm on that G again, okay, so you got a bit more attack there, and with the 2nd and 3rd fingers. And I personally find this a little easier for string crossing, and it works well with stronger bass lines and riffs because of the increased body to the note. So again, let's just practice this on a G, 3rd fret of the E string. So I'm going to first of all use the 1st and 2nd fingers there. So when I do this, I mean, you can place the thumb on the pickup, or you can actually place it on the body. It doesn't really make much difference. Start out slow, and then, you know, just build up speed, and then with the 2nd and 3rd fingers together. So you're just kind of fluttering on the string, which is kind of why people like Geddy Lee refer to it as flamenco technique, because we're more strumming the note than picking it. So coming back in and out. When I come in with the fingers, I'm actually bringing them into the palm there, and then just flicking them out. So instead of using a rest stroke, you know, coming back into the thumb, I'm actually coming back into the hand. okay? So just as a little practice at moving across the strings, let's try a G major scale, and we'll try 4 notes on each. So the notes of the G major scale: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So 3rd, 5th fret E string, 2nd, 3rd, 5th fret A string, and then 2nd, 4th, 5th frets on the D string, okay? So first of all, let's just try 4 notes together. So when you play across strings like that, you really want to be conscious of where you're putting the thumb. So I started off there with the thumb just on the body there, and I'm picking fairly close to the neck here. Okay, so then when I move onto the A string, I'm shifting the thumb to the E string. Then when I move across onto the D string, I'm shifting the thumb again. Which makes it quite tricky to do, because you know you've really got to be thinking about this finger picking action, and when you do that, if you're not careful, you're going to be getting lots of unwanted noise and hitting other strings. So you've really got to be conscious of what you're doing with this hand, with the fretting hand, to lock down those other unused strings, okay? So like I said, this is more of a strumming action, and because of that, you can accidentally, you know, if I was to keep the thumb on the body, you know, you can get lots of noise from the other strings. So okay. So who uses this technique? Well, it's been used many times over the years by many different players, but Chuck Rainey was probably the first guy that I saw using this technique, and it's a part of his book, The Complete Electric Bass Player, which is one of the most popular books out there for bass players. He teaches you this technique as a standard way of picking with a single finger, and then if you take a look at some of his old instructional videos here on YouTube, you'll see him talking about that technique and demonstrating the method too.
It gives me a lot of speed.
As well as Chuck, some of the most famous exponents are Geddy Lee and Bryan Beller. Bryan Beller uses this technique to get really fast thrash metal lines without the need for a plectrum or 3-finger picking. As you can see there, he's using the 2-finger method that I laid out earlier. So we've got the funk, blues, jazz approach of Chuck with that single finger, and the hardcore speed metal approach with a lot more attack of Bryan with the double finger. Geddy Lee is probably the most famous exponent of this technique, and he started using this technique a little late in his career, around the early to mid 90s. Before that, he was using traditional 2-finger technique alongside his use of strummed and picked chords. But then around the Counterparts album, he started using this technique that he refers to as Flamenco Picking to get different, more idiosyncratic rhythmic patterns. A good example of this is the song Animate, which is the opening track from the Counterparts album, obviously by Rush, which has the following line. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I tend to like playing this kind of line with the 2-finger flamenco picking rather than just the 1 to get a little bit more beef in there, but you can try it with 1 finger as well. So I'll just work through the notes in here so you can try it out. It's in the key of D minor, but we're starting on an A, okay? So 7th fret of the D string, and we've got 6 beats there. It's in 4/4, but we're playing 16th notes, and we play 1 E, 2 E, and 3 and 4 E, and 1 E, and 2 E, and then up to the C at the 10th fret of the D string for 2 beats, so 3, 4, then down to the F at the 3rd fret of the D string, so 1 E, and 2 E, and 3 and 4 E, and 1 E, and 2 E, and A at the 7th fret of the D string, so all of that together. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're down to the B flat, 1st fret of the A string. 3, 4, so that's for a full bar. Then up to the C, 3rd fret of the A string. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we move up to the E at the 7th fret of the A string. So I'll just go from the B flat again. 2, 3, 4, C, 2, E, 2. And then we have this hit and a slide from the E down to the D. So 4, 1, 2, and then for the final 2 beats, we're on the G, 5th fret of the D string, but you can hit the open string with that as well if you want to, because they're the same note, and that can make things a little bit easier when you're making the transition back across. So, and then when you play the repeat, we make the little slide from the G up to the A there, so 5th fret to the 7th fret, okay? So, slowly, all of that together, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you're back in. So try that really slowly, just perfecting those slides and the transitions, and really try for a consistent attack there, and then you can try along with the backing track. So as you can imagine, Geddy doesn't really use this technique for speed's sake, it's more of an effect that it creates. That bass line to Animate could be played just as easily, if not more easily, using 2 finger picking, but the flamenco picking gives it a more fluid sound due to that lack of attack. So here it is with traditional picking, so we just have so you can play that quite easily like that, but when you play it with the flamenco strumming, it's got a much more fluid kind of sound. Okay, so that's the flamenco flutter flicking picking method of playing bass guitar. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be informed of new lessons every Friday. Then leave me a comment to let me know what other techniques you'd like to see covered. I've already covered a lot of stuff, including 4-finger picking, 3-finger picking, tapping, slapping, and a bunch of other techniques. So check out the lesson map at TalkingBass for a complete listing of all the videos in category order. And let me know if you want me to expand on any of those that I've already covered or add something new in there. Okay, I'll see you next week.